Hello and welcome to Glassnode Academy. Today we're looking at a Bitcoin metric called average coin dormancy, which we often simplify just to refer to it as dormancy. So what we're going to go through today is an overview of what average coin dormancy is and what the metric is and the inputs to it, which segment of the market this is actually looking at and trying to track and understand, and how we consider dormancy in our market analysis. So the concept of coin dormancy comes from the concept of coin days destroyed. So coin days destroyed, if we take Alice for example, she withdrew 2 BTC 100 days ago, and those BTC have now accumulated 200 coin days. Bob's got 60 days ago, he withdrew half a Bitcoin, you've now got 30 coin days, and Carol had 10 BTC, she withdrew 5 days ago, and that's got 50 coin days. So if we total those all up and we spend them all on the same day, the total number of coin days that are destroyed is 280. And that was via moving 12.5 BTC. So what dormancy does is it takes coin days destroyed, it divides it by the number of coins that were actually moved, and that gives us an average dormancy of 22.4 days per coin that was moved that day. So dormancy is that on average per unit coin. So in terms of the input, they're very much the same as our coin days destroyed. We're looking at the lifespan of the spent UTXOs. We're looking at the volume of the BTC that's actually spent, but we're then taking the average and dividing that by the total volume spent that day so we understand on a per unit coin basis. So overall, what dormancy is tracking is the age of the coins that are currently moving. And when we have high values, it tends to suggest that the old hands, people who've accumulated earlier in the cycle, are spending. And when we have a low dormancy value, it tends to mean that it's more day-to-day young traffic. And the old hands are essentially hodling their coins. They're not moving them around. And it effectively is a signal of conviction and strength in the market. So let's jump into Glassnode Studio and we'll have a look at what dormancy looks like in practice. So here we are in Glassnode Studio looking at our Bitcoin average coin dormancy, or just dormancy. You can see that with no moving averages applied, it can be quite noisy. There's a lot of signal and bouncing around on a day-to-day basis. So what we're going to do is apply a 30-day moving average just to smooth out some of that signal. And there's a few observations we can now pull from this data set. The first is that over time, the floor level of dormancy is actually increasing. And this is a property of there being more coins in circulation and also more days that can actually be destroyed. So over time, the UTXO set will accumulate coin days, and we're therefore going to get a gradually rising floor value of what that dormancy will be. We can see that during bullish markets, we actually get an increase in dormancy. And this is saying that older coins on average are coming back into circulation and being spent. So people who may have accumulated at earlier cycles and bear markets are starting to actually liquidate their coins into market strength, and it's showing older hand spending behavior. As we move into more bearish trends, we start to see a downtrend in dormancy. As fewer people are spending those old coins, they move more into an accumulation or a hodling state. And then particularly during the late bear and then the early bull market, where in general the interest in the protocol is at the minimum, the most amount of people have walked away, and it's really the smart money who have stepped back in to start accumulating, we get these very, very low baseline patterns of dormancy. And then as the bull starts to pick back up, we get this increase back in the dormancy as some of those older coins are coming back into circulation. So that's really what dormancy is showing. It's showing us when we're having a difference in the older coins versus the younger coins coming back into the market, and it's presenting that on a per unit coin basis. So it helps smooth out a lot of the data and understand, based on the amount of transaction volume, what are we seeing on it as an average basis for spent lifespan.